So here's an example of just after talking with Claude, kind of how you can fine tune it to really make things that help you a lot. In this pipeline, you're seeing that you can input a company's API docs, which those are different from an MCP server in that they are thousands of pages of documentation, really detailing every single thing that this kind of website or application can use. Whereas the MCP server itself really only picks out like the 5 or 6 things that are the most important to that company. And these are things that companies make on their own and then post to communities, things like that. But you can even use Claude to create a tool that puts an autonomous agent in the middle of that. So as you're seeing here, it says, reads the doc, decides what tools are the most important, then actually writes the code to create that working MCP server, which you can use, again, for yourself at any time. This probably looks really confusing. Honestly, it's really simple. This is called trigger.dev. It's a very new automation site where instead of doing a workflow in sequential steps like you might be doing for N8N or something like that, this is basically saying you have an AI agent that has to make real decisions. So this URL is the API docs for a company called Hacker News. It's just a news website for all things AI, tech, etc. Once I press run test, all this is basically saying is we're going to read through this documentation, figure out what are the most important parts that I'm going to need to create a vessel to connect to hacker.news, and then let's create kind of that Python file as the output. So when I click run test, you can see in real time this loading bar is showing the agent itself actually going in, reading the documentation to figure out what am I supposed to do with this, what are the proper tools, etc., etc. Even again, just as we go through this, this is where it's saying the doc reader part has been opened. First, it just triggered the builder pipeline. The green check saying it's just finished reading. Now it's waiting for the tool planner, things of that nature. And like I said, it is incredible how intuitive and fast these are. It just finished. You see this output, it's the code. This is now the file for me whenever I want to pull news from Hacker News. This is actually kind of the tool that I just created to help me out with. So now, just to give you a reference, I went into Claude Code. I asked it to create the Python file for me to put this outputted code into. It has it right here. Okay. Pasted it in. I pasted it in. Can you make sure all formatting is good? Now you're actually seeing I pasted it in wrong. I didn't even know that. Claude is fixing it for me. Okay, now it's better. And we have the clean Python file. Okay, so now I'm in a fresh Claude Code session. When I say, what are the top stories on Hacker News right now? You can see as it's thinking, it's using the HN MCP tool that we just created. And you can do this with any website that you can think of. If you found any of this informative, go on my website. It's called griffguidesai.com. Always happy to talk to anybody who will listen. I have an open Calendly whenever.